hands are being thrown. There's no room for this in the sport. There's no room for the Davis brothers to be in the building tonight. The police escorted them out. You saw a stroller being moved.
Jokes prior to his fight against Lamont Roach. After the fight, look how many were waiting. The
hardest punch I ever faced. No. And I ain't shitting on him or nothing like that. He can punch.
Tensions ran high backstage as Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach came face-to-face ahead of their anticipated rematch. While Davis attempted to provoke his opponent with sharp words, Roach remained composed, brushing off the confrontation. He made it clear that he prefers to speak with his fists inside the ring, and he's confident that this time, he'll leave no doubt about the outcome.
Outside critics, I know what I could do in the ring, and that's the only thing that matters, honestly, is that I go out and give it my all and perform, and most likely, 9 times out of 10 when I do that, I'll be victorious.
Lamont Roach has shrugged off the idea that Gervonta Davis is the hardest puncher he's ever faced. According to Roach, he's absorbed tougher shots in past fights and doesn't find Davis's power particularly intimidating. His steady demeanor reflects the mindset of a seasoned fighter who won't be rattled by hype or reputation.
The hardest punch I ever faced. No. And I ain't shitting on him or nothing like that. He can punch. But Jonathan Okendo, he's from Puerto Rico. Bro, he got bricks in his hands, bro. I lie to you not. He punch hard. I ain't gonna lie.
Their first encounter took a dramatic turn when Davis unexpectedly took an uncharacteristic move that sent shockwaves through the boxing world. That moment elevated Roach's reputation, framing him as the first fighter to truly challenge Davis. Since then, public sentiment has shifted, with many now seeing Roach as a legitimate threat who could take control in the rematch.
Tank did that, so I know the got in his eye, but they should have countered it. They would have countered it, it would have went to Lamont Roach. What I didn't like about Tank, he was gassing up Lamont Roach way too much, and he was already talking about like retiring.
He seemed a little distracted, didn't he, in the fight?
That wasn't the same Gervonta Davis we're really used to seeing.
It just lets you know how corrupt like these governing bodies are, bro. If that dude took a knee, not only did he take a knee, he's like, hold on real quick. Let me get this out of my eye. How is that not a point? Like,
you know, funny thing, bro, that's why I cut my braids off. I had braids, and I had the same thing. I went through the same shit. When I fought Andre, that shit was burning my eyes, so I cut that shit.
Recent training footage of Davis paints the picture of a revitalized athlete, stronger, and more mentally locked in than before. Coupled with a confident message on social media, it's clear he's entering this rematch with renewed focus. His fans are buzzing with anticipation, expecting a dominant performance fueled by grit and preparation. Boxing legend Roy Jones Jr. praised Davis's explosive style, highlighting his ability to dismantle opponents with a blend of raw power and refined technique. Still, he acknowledged the unpredictability of the matchup. Despite that, Jones believes Davis's ring presence and intensity will ultimately prove overwhelming.
Saturday night, Gervonta Davis versus Lamont Roach. What are we expecting from this fight?
Well, we're expecting Gervonta to just continue to show us his dominance and show us who he really is. It's really a coming out party for Roach, but we kind of haven't seen him a lot. So he gets to show people what he has too. And usually when you get two guys who are boxers amateurs, it's going to equate to a good fight for the first few rounds. But then when the pro rounds take over, we'll find out, has Roach adjusted to being a pro yet, or is Tank too superior as a pro? And that's where the difference will come in. You got a good back foot game like that, and you understand boxing like he understands it, he's going to make it rough for anybody. But Tank is a different animal too. So it's a great fight. That's why everybody want to see it. We can't just look at it and say, oh, he's going to win. Oh.
Many observers believe Davis wasn't at his best in the first fight, citing possible distractions or strategic missteps. Now, with his reputation on the line, Davis seems more driven than ever. His current mindset and training approach suggest that this rematch is about more than redemption. It's about reclaiming dominance and silencing all doubts.
Breaking news, Tank Davis vs. Lamont Roach 2 is set for August 16th in Las Vegas. And this is a rematch of one of the most controversial fights in recent memory, where Roach arguably won 7 to 8 rounds of that fight, and then Tank took a voluntary knee in round 9, which wasn't ruled a knockdown, but ultimately, it was scored a majority draw. Now in the rematch, I do expect Tank to look much better than he did in the first fight. I don't think that was his best performance by any means, and that means being more active in the early rounds, not just staying on the ropes looking for counters. And I'm sure he'll be willing to exchange more with Roach this time around. The left hands, the combinations, the body shots, that's where he had the most success in the first fight. And Roach, he just needs to stick to what made him so successful in the first fight. His forward pressure, staying behind that jab and right hand. But most importantly, he wasn't scared to take it to Tank, but he also didn't get too aggressive. You know, most of Tank's opponents, if they're scared of the power, they'll sit back on the ropes, get slowly broken down, or if they end up getting too aggressive, they get caught with the counterpunch. But Roach, he was sharp that whole fight. You know, I would go Tank in the rematch. I think he has a lot more to show this time around. But Roach did prove to be a very tough test. But you guys let me know who you got.
Lamont Roach isn't just aiming for a win, he wants a knockout. His training has intensified with one goal in mind, to make a definitive statement. A decisive finish over Gervonta Davis could catapult Roach into boxing's elite, solidifying a legacy built on skill, grit, and relentless ambition.
You sent him to retirement earlier.
My initial plan is to win, but every time I fight, I'm trying to knock somebody out. So, so you know, if that happens in the midst of it, you know, that'd be a blessing. That'd be definitely something that I work for, because I work my ass off. But if he on his way out, well, why not kick his ass out? It does in a sense, but yeah, it do for sure. I ain't gonna lie. I like to prove people wrong, and I damn sure like to prove myself right. So it definitely gives me an incentive. And like I said before, I've been here before.
Mm-hmm.
The heck, the fight they had me duck. Right now, they really got me. They really got me.
Roach has voiced unwavering confidence in his preparation, insisting he brings a complete, well-rounded skill set to the rematch. His confidence doesn't stem from arrogance, but from a disciplined training regimen. He believes he's ready to counter anything Davis brings, no matter how the fight unfolds.
30 people, knocked out, 28 of them, right? What makes you different?
He probably can't answer that question. He probably can't answer that question. But it's the skill, the will. I got the whole package, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm not sitting there waiting to get hit by nobody, especially somebody that's supposed to be a power puncher. That's evidently a power puncher. I got two.
Trainer Greg Hackett emphasized that this fight is evenly matched, with no clear favorite. According to Hackett, the outcome will hinge on execution and precision. For Davis especially, there's zero margin for error. He must remain locked in, mentally and physically, from start to finish.
Of what's going on in Tank's camp and, you know, training with this person, training with that person.
Yeah.
Who has the edge heading into the rematch?
Neither one of them. Lamont, you know what, I'm lying. 55-45, Lamont.
Why?
Lamont got the edge because he already did the unexpected. He was supposed to get knocked out coming up from 130. And not only did he not get knocked out, he performed and possibly won the fight. That's what some people believe. I thought it was a very close fight. I think, but after you asked me that question, I'm thinking about it. Yeah, I think Lamont do have a slight edge, just because he did what he wasn't supposed to do. So a lot of people go in there and they're very obedient to Tank's power, and Lamont wasn't that night. Lamont wasn't having it, and he said he wasn't having it. He said it before. Y'all tripping. Y'all must be really like tripping. So I guess we was tripping.
Could we see the most focused Gervonta Davis after him getting so much backlash for the performance, for the taking a knee, etc.?
This would be the night we have to see the most focused Tank Davis. Because if he's not the most focused, then he gonna be in trouble. It's just that simple. This is the night you gotta be not on your A game, you gotta be on your everything game. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have everything with you that night, and you can't play about it. And you gotta mean it. Every step gotta be counted for, and he know that. So I'm looking for this just to be a great fight. Great fight.
Who you picking to win?
Former world champion Mikey Garcia offered a sobering assessment. While Davis has the talent and ability to adapt, none of it matters without mental clarity. Garcia warned that if Davis isn't fully focused, his skills alone won't save him. In his words, if your head's not in it, don't even step in the ring.
I think Tank wins in the rematch.
Why?
I think he'll make the right adjustments and he won't take too long to fight. He kind of gave a lot of the round away sometimes. I think he'll be more active and he'll win. But big props to Roach for his last fight and performance. Fuck, surprised everybody.
Right.
I think he was robbed from the victory. Again, that knockdown should have been a knockdown.
Right.
But whatever, he gets a rematch, you know. And maybe they get a third fight, you know, after that. Who knows?
Maybe it turns if Marquez back out.
Maybe it turns out to be another great fucking matchup, and they say, you know what, let's run it back.
Right.
And maybe that controversy from the first fight actually helps Roach fucking get 3 fights out of it instead of just the one, or you know, you never know. So hey, things happen for a reason, and I think
the edge.
I'm not a psychiatrist, bro. I don't know. Everybody's a little different. What I got to say is, like, if you're dealing with any mental health, it seems to be a very common thing. I mean, if you don't feel that you're 100% dedicated or 100% capable of blocking out, you know, personal life issues or whatever to get in the ring, then don't get in the ring. Don't get in the ring. Now, if you're,
but it seems like a lot of fighters are going through stuff and they get in the ring.
If you're going through stuff and you feel like maybe it's helping, like he says, maybe it's helping him fucking do it. Fuck, let him do it. I don't know.
Kenny Ellis acknowledged Roach's hard work, but cautioned against overhyping training footage. He stressed that true character is revealed under fire when exhaustion sets in and punches land. For Ellis, it's Davis's mental toughness and willpower in those critical moments that will matter most.
Another great fucking matchup, and they say, you know what, let's run it back.
Right.
And maybe that controversy from the first fight actually helps Roach fucking get 3 fights out of it instead of just the one, or you know, you never know. So hey, things happen for a reason, and I think he did really well in his first one. Hopefully he puts on a great fight, even if he were to lose, but in a great fight, shit, he'll get a third fight.
Right.
You know?
Mikey, what do you make of him saying he wants to go to therapy to fix his like mental health, but not yet because he doesn't want to get fixed yet because he needs that?
In the ring, then don't get in the ring. Don't get in the ring. Now, if you're,
but it seems like a lot of fighters are going through stuff and they get in the ring.
If you're going through stuff and you feel like maybe it's helping, like he says, maybe it's helping him fucking do it. Fuck, let him do it. I don't know, dude. I had personal stuff. A lot of fighters have issues. It's life, bro. This is our job, but their life keeps going. Life continues.
You have to juggle this with life.
You have to juggle. You have to balance, and it's tough, bro. It ain't easy. It ain't easy at all. You gotta be dealing with family, with kids, with wives, with girlfriends.
Crazy that I always see the same story.
A second straight loss would be more than just a setback for Gervonta Davis. It could be defining. One bad night can be forgiven. 2 in a row raises serious doubts. Critics would question his place among boxing's best, and opportunities at the top could start to disappear. This rematch is about more than redemption. It's about protecting his legacy, silencing doubters, and proving he's still among the sport's elite.
Rematch happening or what? Because I'm ready to see a motherfucker get knocked out again. I'm not here to debate because y'all really go neck and neck for this for the rest of the tournament on who y'all think really won, who y'all think should have won, who y'all think didn't win. This is probably one of the biggest debates that will never be solved. Well, they put up a good fight. I'm not going to lie, y'all, but damn near seemed like it was set up for them to have another match. Because exactly what Lamont did to Tank the whole first half, that's what Tank did to Lamont the whole second half. So what the fuck? It literally went neck for neck. I feel like it was a tie in my opinion. So hard to even say that though, because you just see so much demolishment from one and then for it to flip to the other and it just had your mind like, what? Just really had your mind blown. Like, what the fuck? I feel like when it came to the decision on the fight, a lot of people were real biased. A lot of people definitely went off of just their personal opinion of the person, their history of liking the person, not off of the fight itself. I will admit that really going into this fight, the first time, I thought Lamont was going to get his shit knocked off. I thought Tank was going to do him in. Now, although Tank, if I'm not going to lie, Lamont had him. He stuck with him the whole 12. If you know anything about boxing, especially boxing a motherfucker like Tank, you know that it's to flex the last 12 rounds just as much as it is to beat a motherfucker. The fact that Lamont lasted 12 rounds with him was really getting up, I'm not gonna lie, stinging shit, all 12. It showed that this next match gonna really show who the fucking winner was. I do gotta say, Tank probably gonna come ready for him, but the fact that Lamont came ready for him, as ready for him as he did last match, I ain't gonna lie, I'm scared for both of them. This should be bigger than the Super Bowl, I'm not gonna lie. They say it's supposed to be happening in the summer, which would be a really good way to kick off the summer. And I know these two got a vengeance out for each other. Regardless of growing up together and fighting together, I'm not gonna lie, y'all. The way that fight went down, I'm not gonna lie, I really feel like this is gonna be history. Like, I can't wait to watch it.
Kenny Ellis has hinted at strategic changes happening quietly within Davis's camp, adjustments that could flip the script entirely. While details remain under wraps, the secrecy has fueled speculation and heightened anticipation. Davis's team is confident the changes will shift momentum and deliver a statement. Performance in one of boxing's most talked about
What do you see? Both of them, like I said, they both, top of the game. I see
a competitive fight. Nice, clean, crispy shots like the first fight. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can't speak on what I seen, but the fight will be different.
Right, because you could strategize and do different things.
Yeah, it'll be different.
Rolly Romero came to Davis's defense, reminding critics that even the greatest have off nights. He argued that one shaky performance shouldn't erase Davis's accomplishments. In Romero's eyes, Davis remains one of boxing's most dangerous fighters and a dominant force in the sport.
People want to discredit Tanguy, and he's still a pound-for-pound fighter.
Yeah. What do you think about that fight that happened? You thought it was just an off night, or?
Everybody has an off night. Everybody has an off night. Shit, I had a off night with Cruz. Everyone has a night. It's boxing.
You want to run that back with Cruz or what?
Maybe down the line.
Teofimo Lopez reflected on the aftermath of Davis's first fight with Roach, noting how quickly the support around him seemed to vanish. He believes the sudden wave of criticism exposed doubts about Davis's standing among the elite, but Lopez sees the rematch as Davis's chance to reset the narrative, win back respect, and show that one misstep doesn't define a true champion.
You know, a lot of people, look what they did with Gervonta too. I want everybody, all these young fighters that are listening to this, and you could clip this. It's a short part right here.
I got you.
To Ryan could clip this right here. To all you young fighters, look at the amount of love they were giving and sharing to Gervonta Tank Davis prior to the fight. Look at what all the reporters were doing prior to the fight. Look how they were all laughing at all his jokes prior to his fight against Lamont Roach. After the fight, look how many were waiting to down this man. Down him. See, I'm going to talk my smack with Tank, but that's because I want to fight him. That's me. I can say that. But I just want all you young fighters to really look about it. They don't care about us.
Yeah.
They won't ever care about us. When you winning, they're going to be there. But they're waiting for any moment to slip up. Just a man, even a draw. Look how much hate he got out of it.
Yeah, not to get deep, but you know, it's a part of our psychology. We have to learn how to care about other people. You know what I mean?
Right. And the thing that I really appreciate about Tank is he's a dog. That kind of that what he just said. You can put them earmuffs up and go at it. Mm-hmm. He kind of will assess you as well, and whatever he needs to do, he'll do it. You know, so.
Right. Sean Porter praised Davis's high fight IQ and raw power, calling him one of the smartest and most dangerous fighters in the division. Despite recent criticisms, Porter warned against writing him off. He emphasized that Davis's ability to read opponents and adapt mid-fight still makes him a serious threat to anyone at lightweight.
Everybody really think Tank go take the L. I've been seeing it. They say it's over. They think that this time Lamont go in more confident, knowing that basically he can, really take it to Tank. Yeah, I want him to go in there confident. He's very skilled. Go in there confident. Because you go up against a different Tank. Like I told y'all in previous videos. He go in there confident, thinking he could walk Tank down. Don't forget, with Tank, if he get you on that button, them lights going off. I don't care who you is. Remember how it ended up with Frank Martin? So yeah, don't go in there thinking that you going against like somebody that, like Ryan Garcia, somebody that's go fold. You going against Gervonta Tank Davis. And I think that confidence is what's going to get Lamont dropped. Because one thing I will say, with Tank, that wasn't your best fight against Lamont, bro. Confident, and you was really just, your mind was in y'all story, the lore and everything with y'all history. You ain't going there like I'm fighting a stranger. You going there like, oh, this Lamont, this from the same camp, we from the same area. But now I think that whole situation woke him up, because you got to think, Tank not used to losing.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next time.